Welcome back at another tutorial about the Korg PA5X. In this tutorial we are going to take a look at the electric pianos. The Korg PA5X has a terrific set of electric pianos on board, but it lacks some neo-soul type of warm pianos, and we are going to create them ourselves. And it's really easy to do when you use the correct Insertifix. So we are going to take a look at how to create those neo-soul pianos. So a lot of the neo-soul pianos are based on the sound of the Rhodes Mark V. And luckily the Rhodes Mark V is also on board of the Korg PA5X. So let's load up one of the Mark V presets. And let's modify that Mark V preset to a neo-soul type of piano. So how do you do that? Well, in the main section you can see the keys section over here, and we are going to click it. Then we go to the electric piano factory settings. And we see the MK5 stage piano. So select that one. And now it has loaded up a standard piano. And when you play with the electric pianos, it's always nice to play some jazz chords or some neo-soul type of chords. So what I did was included a piano roll below this video, so that you can see what I play. Also, I'm going to give you some chord progressions to practice with, and how to play the Bee Gees with the song How Deep Is Your Love in a neo-soul type of style. So we've loaded up the MK5 stage, and the first thing you have to do is to go to the mixer tab. And here you have the upper section. If you don't have the upper section, press this gray button below to get the upper section available. We don't need the ePiano noise, so mute that one. And the dark pads are already muted in this specific one. So it sounds really great already without doing anything. So very nice, but it doesn't have that warm feel. So let's change that. Well, we are in the mixer tab, and we are going to press this mixer button on the screen. And now you see over here in upper one, the Mark V piano is loaded, and default it has an EQ activated. So when we play it, I hear some annoying frequencies and some high extra frequencies that I don't want for the electric soul piano. So we are going to change that. You hear those overtones, so press that EQ button that is already defined by the factory preset. We want to lower the high frequencies to get that high irritating tone a little bit less. So lower the gain by around 12 dB and set the hertz to around 13. Yeah, 30.90, something like that, 14 kilohertz. So what we are doing now is we are going to put a shelf at around 14K and lower the volume by 12 dB. So that really annoying high frequency is gone now. Really nice. But I also hear an annoying frequency around, 800 hertz, I think. So there's a trick to get rid of that annoying frequency. And let's go to let's use band 3 for that. I set it to the maximum dB, and we are going to say to the Q factor that it is as narrow as possible. So we are going to isolate frequencies in this signal. And now we are going to swipe through the hertz to see which frequency is annoying. And you'll hear them here. I don't like this frequency. I think this is close enough. Let's set it to 5. And we are going to lower this by a few dBs. So we are going to make room on that frequency area. And we are going to spread the frequency area so that it cuts a little bit of those frequencies. So now it has much more room, and it's already a lot better. So this is a really good starting point for a neo-soul type of pianos. I like the frequencies now. So the sound is okay now, so we have to make it warmer. And we are going to use IFX2 for that. And it's now default a guitar amp, and we are going to change that to a modulator. And we are going to use the chorus for this. Just use a standard chorus, that's okay. So we have selected the standard chorus, and we can now set the details of this specific chorus. And you already hear the effect, a lot of effect, and way too much. Sound design is doing all kind of subtle things, not throwing it in as much as possible. So it's good to hear what it does. And we are going to lower the LFO frequency because I find the chorus too much moving. So select the LFO frequency and lower it to 0.58. Yeah, now it does a little bit of its work. And we don't want it as pronounced as it is now, so set the depth to 30. Yeah, that's much better. It does a little bit of chorusing on the signal. And we are going to say, hey, lower the width level. I want more of the original frequency to it. And set it to 22, for instance. And what it does now is it adds a little bit of chorus on top of your original signal. So if we disable it, let's hear it. You'll hear the difference. A very clean signal. Put it on and you'll hear the warmth coming in. So we are already nearly there for the neo soul type of piano, but there's still one important thing missing, and that's the auto panning of the signal to give it that neo soul type of movement. And we are going to use IFX3 for that. So enable it and select it. It's on the chorus now, but we are going to change that and select, for instance, on page 2, the stereo auto pan. And here we can program the auto panning. So if you're doing it by default, it's way too fast. You hear it going left, right, according to that LFO frequency. So if we are going to enable it to, for instance, a default value of 2.5, which is a common value for those Rhodes pianos. Now you have that typical neo soul Rhodes piano. But for me this is way too much at the moment, so I'm going to lower this frequency to a much lower value, 0.48. And you hear it now moving very slowly from left to right. And we are going to add it on top of the original signal by adding it, giving it a width dry level of 2080. So you can hardly hear it, but what it does is it adds, you have that warm standard electric piano, but it adds a little bit of movement on top of that, and that makes a lot of difference. Now we have created a great sounding electric piano. Very warm, very good. If you disable the effects, it would sound like this. And with the effects on, so the only thing we have to do now is save our keyboard set as a new user set. And let's save it in the user keyboard set and give it a name, well, QR, how deep electric piano, for the song How Deep Is Your Love. Okay. If we go to the main now, you can see, hey, we have the How Deep Is Your Love electric piano. And we have that perfect chord for that. Now we only need a specific style for that, and let's use one of the standard styles in here. Let me see. Well, slow funk is something that is really nice, so let's listen to it. Yeah, very nice, but I want it more slower, so let's lower the tempo to something like 82. This is a nice something to do with. And just let's play some chord progression for you to practice with. So we have created our Neo Soul EP now, and we have selected a funk blues style, and we've lowered the tempo to 82. We set the variation to 3, which is a nice variation to play along with. And let's play some standard chord variations for you to practice with. The keyboard is in full scan mode. The split is disabled because we are going to place those jazz or neo soul chords ourselves. So let's do some variations, and you can always pause the video and see which chord variations I play. So that's a nice chord variation to use. Maybe it's already too complex, but you can also do much more simpler things, like for instance press the D, E, F and then the A, and then press the F, G, A minor, G chord. So if you combine those, very simple to learn. So easy chord progression, and you can do all kind of variations and all kind of embellishments. So nice to use that one. If you want to spice it up a little, more to the neo soul type of stuff, then let's do that also. And for instance, this is a nice chord, and it's also the beginning of the song How Deep Is Your Love, Bee Gees. So let's try that one with this specific style. Passing chords. So all kind of chord variations, and a little bit of Neo Soul's type of feel over the song. This is also a great style, by the way, slow funk. But you can use any style you want on the PA5X. They are all great. You can always disable elements of them to make it more your own style. So a very nice standard electric piano for those type of music. But sometimes you also want a little bit harder sound. This is a really soft, mellow Rhodes piano. So let's make it a little bit more aggressive, and also let's make it controllable with the faders. And that's the trick to do this in the PA5X, and you have to use the modulation matrix for that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's create a little bit more aggressive electric piano. And we are going to do that with the insert effects again, of course. So go to the mixer tab, be sure that you're in the upper section. Otherwise press that gray button below, and press the mixer tab on screen. And we still have that chorus and autopan set up. We don't need autopan for this. And we are going to replace the chorus for a amplifier. And in the amplifier we are going to say, hey, we are going to use the compressor overdrive high gain effect for that. So select that one. And now we are in that compressor overdrive screen. So if we are listening to it now, you hear a much more aggressive piano than we just heard. And we can modify it. We can change the output level to, for instance, 3. We can also change the routing. First the overdrive, then the compressor. And we can of course change the drive for this overdrive. Make it more less pronounced. So we can completely colorize the aggressiveness from this electric piano. So let's set it to 60. And now, how cool would it be that we can use it with the first fader in user mode? Well, it's really easy to do. You see the wet dry level, and we are going to say, hey, this is dry, by entering the value 0. So it's completely dry now. That's soft default piano. But we want to use the first fader to modify this setting. So select MIDI CC12, it's in the bottom. And you see MIDI CC number 12, and that is the source that is going to affect the wet dry one. And with the amount you can say how much you want to affect. And in this case we want to have the full range of this overdrive. Now, if you press the user button over here, and I touch the first fader, and the higher it is, and we can and this works for all the keyboard sets. It doesn't work for the style. I think that's a bug, but for the keyboard sets it does work. So now we have a assignable effect assigned to that first fader. So perfect. And how do you set this up yourself? Well, it's really easy. Hold the shift button and press the user tab. Now you are coming in the controllers section, and you can set up your user faders and buttons to your own preferences. And the screen that you see now is my personal preference. So I have 2 controllers, MIDI CC12 for slider 1 and MIDI CC13 for slider 2. That means that I can use 2 of those controls to control my effects in the keyboard sets. So just go to slider 1 and select FX CC12 control and select that one. And that's basically all you have to do. Now the first fader in user mode is controlling that CC12 value, and you can assign it to any effect that you want. So that's how to do it, and well, have fun experimenting with all the insert effects and have those specific elements. You can go really far with this. I've used the chorus for this, but you can also use we have the chorus in, but I can also use a phaser. I can increase the chorus amount, how much it affects it. Or add a phaser to it. We have lots of things to experiment with. Completely different effect, phaser effect. Can set it faster. All with that same standard piano that we've created at the beginning of the video. So lots of things to experiment with, and again, if you set this to 0, set it to CC12, and this one to the maximum, we can control it with the fader. Standard. And these settings are stored in your keyboard set, so you only have to do this once and it's affected. So nice. The electric pianos of the PA5X sound so good, and it's so nice that you have all these high quality effects and can assign them to the sounds. I love it. So that's it for now, and hope to see you again in the next tutorial.